morning, everyone. My name is Carla, and you've reached my FlossTube channel, Carla Being Crafty, where I talk about mostly cross stitch, but other crafts that I enjoy and a little bit of life thrown in. Today is Sunday, September 18th. I want to give a big welcome to any of you that are new and are finding my channel for the first time. Welcome. I hope you like what you see. You want to hit like and subscribe and all that stuff, and come back every week and spend a little bit of time with me. For those of you that are my returning subscribers and do come and spend this time with me every week, thank you so much for being here, for sharing with me my love of cross stitch and all things sort of creative and crafty. I really enjoy the time that I do this. It was funny this morning, or actually last night. I spent the weekend, well, Saturday. I leave Friday after work. I come home, I feed Baggy, my kitty, and then I go to my brother's. He's about half an hour down the freeway from me, and then I come home early Sunday morning so that I can do my videos. And I do this, this year it's been probably about once a month, every four to 6 weeks. I'm going over there just because they've been super busy. Last year I was going every other weekend. This year it's slowed down a little bit because since restrictions have lifted and the kids are getting older, they are just so full of activities that that I kind of have to be, you know, scheduled in. So but it's nice because when it's my weekend, then it's my weekend, and that's fun. But I was saying like goodbye to the kids last night before they went to bed, and they're like, oh yeah, you're leaving tomorrow morning? And I'm like, yeah. I go, I have to get up at 7:30, and Logan was like, why do you have to get up so early on a Sunday? And I'm like, because I have to get home and do my video. I have an obligation to my subscribers. And he's like, oh, okay. You know, like, he couldn't get it. He couldn't understand why I would voluntarily get up at 7:30 on a Sunday. And, you know, I gotta say, that's not always easy, but I do enjoy getting up, and whether I'm home or there, I enjoy getting up on Sundays, doing my video. Sometimes I get frustrated trying to upload the video because any of you who do YouTube knows that that's hit or miss. It can take, you know, 10-15 minutes to upload your video, or it can take 6 hours. So you never know. But I do enjoy doing that every Sunday. So thank you for being a part of my world for the last 3.5 years, I guess. Okay, so I always kind of give you a Southern California weather report. I am so happy to say that the weather did cool off this past week. It was kind of like mid to sometimes high, but mostly mid 80s. I still would like a little bit cooler, but that was way better than like the high 90s and hundreds that we had for a couple weeks before that. It does look, if I, you know, the 10-day weather report, it looks like it's gonna start creeping back up coming towards next weekend, but maybe that's an aberration. Maybe it'll come back down again. I hope so, because both Baggy and myself, we are breathing easier in the cooler weather. Let me just say that. Okay. I would like to give you guys a big reminder, so like flashing lights now, okay? If you just kind of looked up and saw me going like this, it's because please don't forget, this coming Friday, the 23rd, is our next Zoom call. As I said last time, this is I'm kind of handling it a little bit differently. In the past, I asked you to contact me on Instagram to get the codes to get on, and this time I'm trying just publishing them in the description box below, the meeting ID and passcode to get into the meeting. It is going to be this Friday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, and so I guess that would be 9 o'clock if you're on the East Coast, and if you're in another country on the other side of the world, I'm not sure what time it will be for you, but hopefully it will still be a time that is doable. I realized that I kind of set like an extra little bit of stress for myself by doing it this way. It makes it easier to not have to you know, check my Instagram all the time and I don't have to worry about missing somebody's message to me and them not getting the codes. But what I did realize is that it means I have no idea if anybody's gonna be there. So hopefully some of you guys will show up. I know that there are a few that do really enjoy the Zoom calls and stuff. So I hope that I'm not sitting on Zoom for 2 or 3 hours by myself. But you know, it will be what it will be, and I will be sitting there and stitching whether anybody shows up or not. So please join. I would love to have you. I do enjoy chatting with everybody. It's interesting. Sometimes our chats are very like crafting and stitching related, and sometimes it is completely not. So so yeah, so please just join if you have the time, and I would love to see you there. Okay, let's see, what else do I have to tell you? Oh, so I was saying I went over to Erin and Stacy's and the kids yesterday. Spent a little time with them, which was just, you know, lovely as always. It's just so fun to be over there and see, you know, what things are in the kids' minds right now. And the only downside to only seeing them, to not seeing them as often as I was, is that when I get there, they're all very excited to see me, which is nice and gratifying. But it's like there's 3 of them and they all want to tell me everything that's happened in the last month all at one time. And so I feel like I'm pulled in like 1,000 different directions as everybody's trying to talk to me, and I'm trying to give full attention to everybody and end up feeling like I'm giving not enough attention to anybody. And I told them, I go, you know, you guys, except for Hudson, but the 2 older kids both have their own cell phones. Believe me, they know how to use them. It's like, you guys could call me or text me and tell me some of this stuff during, you know, the time that I'm not here. You don't have to save it all up. And they're like, yes, but it's more fun to tell you when you're here. It's like, I realize that, but it's funny. So Hudson is so excited that it's getting to be fall. He cannot wait for October. October is his favorite month because his 2 favorite holidays are in October. One is his birthday. He's going to be 8 this year. And then of course, Halloween. So he's already got his entire costume planned. He's a little bummed that I'm not going to be there for Halloween, but Halloween is, you know, Monday, I think, this year. So we talked about me going over the weekend before, but really that's not as good of a weekend with the other things that are going on for them. So I'm going to actually go on, instead of like the 28th, 29th, I'm going to go over the weekend before that. So that'll be good. So he'll actually get like 2 weekends of like Halloween celebration, because we'll be able to, you know, do some Halloween type activities. I think the weekend before then, so we might do pumpkin carving or pumpkin painting. That was an option this year, that we might paint some pumpkins instead of carving them all, which would be fun too. And then they'll have them for a whole week leading up to Halloween. So yeah, so that'll be fun. So I'll be able to do that with them in October. So he is just flying high right now. Very excited about all the things coming up. His birthday, they're gonna go to California Adventure, I think. I'm not going to join them because I just don't want to walk around California Adventure. I think I need like 2 weeks to recover from something like that. So so I'm gonna go vicariously through them. So hopefully they'll take a lot of pictures and I'll get to see it that way. So that's gonna be his big birthday excitement, and then Halloween. So his birthday doesn't end, right, for like 2 or 3 weeks, because Halloween's on its way. Reagan is, I mean, I show you guys her artwork all the time. She's very crafty, and like every time I go over there, she's kind of like into a different thing. Like she was doing the little rubber weaving. I don't know what it's called. It's like the little band weaving. She was doing that for quite a while. Made a lot of really cute things. I have several of them hanging off of project bags, because she did them as like keychains, but then I put them on my project bags. And she's made, and then she kind of went into making some really cute like pony bead bracelets and things like that. And then this time, so she's into a new thing, and I think she was calling these clay I don't know if they're called clay discs, clay, I don't know what they're called. But anyway, she made this bracelet for me yesterday. And matching earrings. These are like so cute. I don't know if you can see. But, so I have a new set of jewelry made by Reagan. It's a Reagan exclusive. So the only advice I gave her is that she was trying to do this jewelry making with this big fat pliers that she got from my brother. And I was like, sweetie, you know, these are gorgeous, but you're never going to be able to do it as fine. So I told her she needed to get some needle nose jewelry pliers. And so she was on Amazon looking for those and saying, is this what I need? You know, because I used to work in a jewelry store, so I do know a little bit about that stuff. I'm like, you know, you get those jewelry pliers so that you can turn those wires easier, and they're going to be like primo professional. So, yeah, so I don't know, maybe next time when I come home, I will have another pair. She needs to make me like, if you're listening, Reagan, you need to make me a pair that's like orange, either orange and brown, or orange and purple and green, you know, very Halloween-y. That's what I need. So, oh, and then Logan, my nephew Logan, who is a freshman in high school now. I mean, I have a picture on my desk of him like 18 months old, and that's still what I see in my head. But no, he's 14 going on 15 in high school. Anyway, he and my brother started watching Game of Thrones, and he is freaking obsessed with this show. He is so enamored of this show, which goes along with his interests in history and I mean D&D we play together, so it all kind of goes together. So yeah, he's very into that right now. And he was trying to tell me about some of the scenes that are the extra gross ones, and I was like, no, I really don't want to hear it. He was gonna show me something. I'm like, no, because I heard him start to describe it. I'm like, no, I do not want to see the scene where the guy gets his head squished. No, thank you. But it was funny. So we were sitting there watching TV, I think Friday night, and we were watching trailers for stuff, which, FYI, Hocus Pocus 2, it comes out on the 30th of September on Disney+. I'm very excited to see that. So I saw that trailer, and then as we were scrolling past stuff, I was like, wait, stop, Willow. They're doing a series, I think on Disney+, of Willow, with Warwick Davis and Joanna, what's her last name? Joanna Whatley is in it. So I was all excited, so I made him watch that trailer, and then yesterday Stacy and Reagan went to go do an errand, and Aaron and Logan and I were trying to figure out something to watch on TV, and he's like, what was that show that you were so excited about? And I was like, oh, Willow? And he's like, yeah, what's that about? And Aaron's like, oh, we'll show you the movie. So we watched Willow yesterday with him, and we were like, explaining, like, you know, this was made in, you know, it may not be the CGI that you're used to, but you know, this is like kind of restarted some of the fantasy genre, and kind of restarted the interest in making the Lord of the Rings films, actually. And, you know, and it was a Steven Spielberg production and everything. So he actually really liked it. He was kind of skeptical at first, you know, it's like, this is an old movie, but he actually kind of liked it. So now I think he's excited to watch Willow, the series too. I don't know when it comes out. I don't think it's out yet, but, so yeah, so that was fun. Okay. Oh, the other thing this is like, so it has nothing to do with stitching, but I was excited when I did it this morning. My nails were looking terrible because I had taken them off to, you know, I wear press-on nails, but I take them off to let my nails breathe, you know, not every week necessarily, but I'll take them off for a couple days. And I had done that, and they were looking horrible, and I didn't really want to go and film with you guys, so I put some nails on this morning. And they're so cool because they're color changing. So, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them to go dark. They're like dark purple, but then with the heat, they go pink. So, keep an eye on them during the video because they might turn dark. And of course, I do have to tell you guys, because I do get comments occasionally that my hands look pretty or my nails look really pretty. You guys have to know that I do this like on Friday night or Saturday or Sunday for my videos. I have these really long, gorgeous nails, and Sunday night I trim them all down because I can't go to work like this. I can't type. I can stitch. I can stitch with super long nails. They actually work as tools to help me manipulate the thread. If I did not work in an office and have to type all day, I would keep them long, but I can't do it in my real life. So I do kind of cheat a little bit, and you guys see these long, sometimes very long, pretty nails, and I don't wear them like that on a regular basis. But I just thought these were really pretty, and they are going to darken up when my hands are colder. But having put them on and manipulating them, they turned light. Like, you see how this one is a little bit darker? If I make it hot, no, that, I don't know if you can tell, but anyway, see, that one is a little bit darker, but they started out, they were dark, like dark purple, like this color. So when they get colder, they'll go back to this color. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, okay. So on to the stitching now. I have to tell you guys, this was a very stressful, difficult week at work. I have kind of mentioned to you guys before, we were doing all these changes with our broker dealer, and I work for a financial planner. So this was like the first full week of changes. Hey baby, I know you can't get past, huh? If you come over here, you can come see the people. There. Anyway, so it was our first full week of the changes, and kind of as expected. I mean, it went pretty well, but there were some, you know, snafus and difficult things, and it was a very, very difficult week at work. We had a very large client, new client, who was doing some rollover stuff, and some stuff went wrong with that. Not any fault of our own. UPS seemed to have lost a check that is extremely large. You know, and unfortunately, and I try to be sympathetic to it, but it is a situation where if my boss gets stressed out, he yells at me and my coworker. And it shouldn't be like that in the best of all worlds. It wouldn't be like that, but you know, he's human too. And so there was one day when he almost had me in tears because he was upset, really not at anything that I had done, but it manifested that way. And so he kind of took it out on me, and I was a little bit upset. And then, I mean, I think he knew he went a little bit too far, because then he was super, super nice after that, you know, like overly nice and overly like, oh, thank you so much about everything that I did. But so anyway, it was a hard week, and it not, you know, just because of that high level of stress, I got home and I was just like really exhausted every night, and I didn't necessarily feel like stitching. I did stitch, I think, almost every night. I think one night I actually did fall asleep pretty early and I didn't stitch, but I didn't stitch as much as I normally do. So I just am kind of telling you that ahead of time, because I don't want to disappoint you with my lack of progress on stuff. I didn't even work on my Mediterranean Little Mermaid at all this week, which I'm so excited to get that done, and I didn't even touch it this week. I still have a bunch of stuff to show you, but I guess I wanted to preface it. It's not like I lost my stitchy book. I just was tired this week, and you know, I don't know how much stuff I'm gonna get done today because I'm tired. And as I'm uploading, I think TV and a nap is gonna be a bigger priority than stitching today. That's just how it is. Okay, so all that being said, I do have something exciting to show you, which is a new start. I know I'm sitting here talking about how I have all these finishes I want to get done, and you know, I want to lower my whip list, you know, to go into the new year, and here I am starting something. But I don't think it's going to be a surprise to you guys that I started my Chatelaine, because you knew I was so excited about the fact that I was supposed to be getting one of my orders, and I did. And it's funny because when you think about it, I waited all that time, and really what was in the order was two skeins of silk, So it was these two silken colors, which, I mean, they're super, super pretty. Look at that. Look how much they shine. You can even see it in the camera here, how shiny they are. So there's this sort of purpley periwinkle one, and then this one, which normally I wouldn't look twice at a color like this, you know, but then when you really look at it, it's just like moss greens and browns and taupes, and it's really pretty. So those were the two threads I was waiting for, because I ended up getting the other ones myself. As I said, just as a fluke, 123 Stitch had the one Gloriana that was needed. They have very few Glorianas, but they had this one, which was great. And then there was a Princess Pearl, and instead of even trying to find that, I decided to use a Color and Cotton, one strand of the 3 strands that come in this, and I think it's gonna work just fine. And then these are the DMCs. So I was waiting for those 2 silks, and then of course the beads. And I do like the idea of ordering from the European cross stitch company for the beads and stuff, because not that it's necessarily hard to source the beads, but it's like, I hate having, first of all, I hate having to pay like shipping from 4 different sources, you know, because this one has 2 of the things you need and this one has 1, and you know, I don't like doing that. And so it was worth it to wait. So I got this little baggie that has some of the more unusual stuff, and the big one in the middle, and then these are all of the delicas. So, and it's got the little European cross stitch company ribbon, which has needles attached to it. So yeah, there's a couple needles in that ribbon, and then my little baggies of, or actually they're little tubes of delica beads, and they're tiny. Well, because, you know, they're the little delicas. So, anyway, that all came in. What did I just drop? Oh, yeah, hold on. So, suffice it to say, I cannot wait, and I started this pattern. And I don't think I have a cover, and even like showing you, yeah, I mean, even showing you kind of a chart, even though it wouldn't matter, you couldn't do anything with this kind of chart, but it doesn't really, except for showing you kind of like the basic shape of it. I will try, because I do have it on my phone, which of course I can't access because I'm recording on it. I'll try and print out a cover page so that when I show you this in future, I will be able to show you the what it's gonna look like. Words are hard. So now this is what, if you ever go on to look at the Chatelaine website, which I recommend, even if you have no interest in stitching them, if you just like looking at pretty stuff, go on to the Chatelaine website. Or actually, if you have no interest in actually stitching them and just want to see pictures, go to the Chatelaine gallery site, because that's where you can really see pictures of actually finished projects, and you'll just see they're all so gorgeous. Even if you have no really desire to stitch them, if you are a stitcher, you will enjoy admiring them, if nothing else. But if you do go on to the Chatelaine, I think it's Chatelaine, excuse me, .de. If you go onto the Chatelaine website with the idea of possibly ordering something, you can search for it many different ways. You can put in like a code word, or you can well, anyway, there's different ways to search, but you can also search by size of project. So you can search for like the teeny tiny, like the free patterns and stuff like that. Those are considered tiny. Then there's like mini ones, because there was a couple series where like there's mini mandalas, and I think You can buy them separately, or you can buy them in a set for kind of a discounted price. And then she has what she considers MIDI, M-I-D-I projects, and then large, and then giant. So this is considered a MIDI project. So it's 151 stitches by 151 stitches. It is more of a mandala type in that each side looks the same. There's no differences, which on a big project, I don't think I would enjoy, but on something this size, or like the little tiny ones, like these two. These, it didn't bother me because they're small enough that I wasn't getting bored with, you know, doing the same thing. So these are like mini, well, these are actually they used to be free. Now they're $5 charts. Again, if you have any interest in doing a Chatelaine, I think it's a great idea to get those because it's not much of an investment. You don't even really need to order anything for it because if you've been stitching for any length of time, you have the 4 or 5 colors that you would need, you know, 1 metallic and a few beads. I changed everything, right? I didn't use anything that was called for. I just picked purples and greens and then pinks and greens, and I actually used colored beads. They both called for like a metallic bead, and I like it with the colored bead, so I'm glad that I changed it. But anyway, this is a MIDI. It's 151 stitches by 151 stitches. Did I say it was called the Green Lace Mandala? It's actually originally was mystery number 2, because I guess when she was alive and was actively creating patterns, she had some mysteries that now, you know, now have a name and you're getting the whole project, but originally were put out in parts. So this was called mystery number 2, but now it's the Green Lace Garden Mandala. And I have just a very small start with, let's see, there's 2 specialty stitches in here. There's a race stitch, which is these blue ones, is a race stitch. And then there's some Algerine eyelets. And I did choose the fabric that that I was talking about last week. And as I said, I was a little bit worried because it's 28 count and 151 stitches would be like a little bit over 10 inches, and this is only 13 inches wide. But then I decided to go ahead and count because, you know, this is a hand dyed, and hand dyed fabrics often shrink. So it actually has become a 32 count. So that gives me a little bit more play as far as, you know, border. So I'm not really worried about it. Okay, so that was my new start. So now I have something to stitch on Chatelaine Wednesdays along with the Italian Street Cats, which I do want to get done before the end of the year. So, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun to do. Okay, so I don't have any finishes this week. But let's see, let's go to the whips. So I worked a little bit on Sweet William, which is my Realist kit that I have going. This is one of my older charts, so I definitely do want to get this done before the end of the year. And again, it's Realist. It's the acrylic wool blend yarn type fiber. I know there's big debate on this. Some people hate it. Some people love it. I like it. I like it because it's a change. It's different than the other stuff that you know, that I'm used to using, and I think it's so vibrant and pretty. I know I was watching Amy. I'm losing her channel name, but she's the one, she's very into Chatelaines, and she started Chatelaine Wednesday with Kitschy Whips with Maggie. But she's very into it. She has these wonderful Mirabilia collection videos that basically she has the whole collection of charts. Anyway, she was talking about these and she hates them. And she said that she has some other like wool acrylic yarn that she got from some other source that she really likes. So she thinks it's just these qualities she doesn't like. Again, I don't have a problem with them. I like them. And I know there are people who have not gotten realistic kits that they like because they've heard bad stuff about this. I mean, I would say if there's a chart or a kit that you really love, just go ahead and get it. If you get this stuff and hate it, don't use it. You can just substitute out what floss you like. It's not gonna, you know, but then you'll have the chart. But if you tend to like all different kinds of fibers, you might like it. I mean, I do. It's a 1-strand thing, so you have to double it, where it calls for 2 strands. It is fuzzier. It is definitely fuzzier than anything that you'd be used to stitching if you're just stitching on cotton. But again, I think the colors are so vibrant and beautiful, and I just like it as a change. Now, obviously, if you're allergic to wool, like my friend Dawn, don't use it because it will make you itch. But if you're not, then you will get really gorgeous, vibrant results like this. Like, I'm sorry, but I really think this is pretty. And it is do very little to my stitching ability and do much more to the kit and the fiber. So let's see, I worked over here. I got this whole leaf section done, and yeah, and this little bud area. So I get moved sometimes, and I go and I search the sites for realist kits, and there's a couple that I have been tempted, but I'm trying not to buy stuff that I don't really need. And I mean, I have a pile of stuff to stitch. I do not need to buy more stuff, even though I get tempted. Okay, so that was sweet. I did work on Catnap Faye this week, and it looks like a mess because my flosses are everywhere. So let me try and fix that. I know that the hanging flosses, the people who do not like parking or who parking scares them, this is why, because all of these flosses that look unorganized and scary, to me it's really not. There's like a method to the madness, right? There we go. Okay. So I worked not that much, but I got, maybe 50 to 100 stitches. So that's 5 to 10 rows here. I actually finished the kitty's head, or I got to the top of the kitty's head, and now we're into the little flower hat. And I really shouldn't have my needle minder right on her face. There we go. This is Catnap Faye by Nadia Tate, and it is a Heaven and Earth designs. I'm obviously not stitching the background, so which I'm removing the background myself, so it's not that challenging, but I decided to stitch it on this blue Crystal Pool Aida. I think this is a 16 count actually, but I really like how she's turning out. And this is the end. This stitch right here is the corner. So once I finish this diagonal, then when I get into this diagonal, we actually will have full on turn the corner. Okay. Because I was over at Erin Stacy's, I brought my little Best Net Ever project bag. Oh, and see here, well, this was made by Reagan. Actually, I think there was something dangling off of it that probably fell off. But I take this over to their house. This is my weekender project when I go over there for now. This is Jardin Privé's Sampler Osha. I'm not really a sampler stitcher. I'm not really attracted to, you know, the antique type samplers. But when I saw this one, I really liked it, so I jumped on it. And, you know, it is supposed to be Sampler September, so it was a good weekend to work on it. So I was over in this corner here, finished the corner, motif. So each corner has like a pretty corner thing, and they're all different. So I finished that corner motif, and then these stitches into this like flower box, which I started. This little bird was here last time, but actually that's a new little bird because he was like one stitch over too far. I cannot count. So this is one thing about me. When I do stitching, one of the reasons that I am not like a cross-country stitcher or anything like that is because truly I can't count to save my life. So I have to be next to everything. That's why if you notice my projects, you know, wherever I happen to start, whether it's the top corner or the middle or whatever, my stuff radiates out from the place that I start. I don't jump around, because if I do that, there is going to be more mistakes than there are anyway. So yeah, so last time I was over, I had stitched this cat, and I had stitched the mouse and the rooster, and when I counted over the to the rooster, or the bird, I was off. So when I started stitching this corner that's closer to it, I was going to run into it. So I had to pull that whole bird and re-stitch them. Oh, and I also stitched the paw print this weekend. So I've turned 3 corners. So that's pretty good. This is being stitched with Sulky on a 20 count Aida, which is a combo that I really like. I like Sulky, I like anyway, but Sulky on 20 count Aida, I think looks really good. And, you know, Aida's like so nice and easy and comfy to stitch on, because it's just, you don't have to worry about skipping holes. And... okay. Midnight Meow I worked on. This is my 2022 Black Cat birthday sale. This is a free chart from Mirabilia that I got at Stitch Paradise in Las Vegas. And it's free, but it's not on their site, listed on their site now, so you have to get it from an LNS. So I actually finished this wing and finished some of the black in the body. It's all fill-in now. A little bit of beading left, and then fill in, and then a little bit of back stitching that will kind of separate out the tail. Oh, and it's interesting, so Stacy, when I went over this weekend, she said, you know, oh, I'm glad you're here, I need your advice. So she's stitching, Stacy loves Dirty Dancing, the movie. She grew up on it. It was her favorite movie. Absolutely adores it. And she found like 3 patterns from, I think from one seller on Etsy. There are 3 like Dirty Dancing kind of patterns that she's stitching in. She's gonna, you know, hang them in a grouping. So one is, you know, they're very simplistic type patterns. You know, not a ton of detail, but just it's a very nice style, but it's definitely a style of, you know, chart. So the one is like kind of where baby's crawling towards Johnny, you know, that one scene, and one is the iconic thing where she's standing in front of him, and I think she has her arm up or whatever, and she's looking up at him. And then the other one is her where she's kind of like leaning back against the rail on that bridge. But I think they were all charted by the same Etsy seller, so I think the colors were the same. But Stacy's stitching the first one is the one where they're calling, and she you know, because they're simple, there's not that many colors in them. And she was kind of like not happy with the way, like so Johnny's wearing all black. For whatever reason, it was charted with a very, very, very dark navy as the tank top instead of black, and then the pants are black, which is fine. But then to kind of separate his legs, you know, there's a line of stitching in the black pants that is supposed to like kind of be the leg separator, and it's the way it was charted, it's that same very dark blue with the black. You can't even see a difference. So she stitched it and she was like really not happy. So she's asking like, what did I think I should do? And I'm just like, because I've been working on Midnight Meow, which uses this dark gray as sort of the separator between the black, which is something that Nora Corbett does anyway, on several patterns. I've seen that. I suggested the dark gray. So then the other thing is that she had, I think, started stitching baby's wearing like jean shorts. Those were also charted in black. And I pulled up a picture on my phone, which happened to be the picture of what she's stitching, because I was telling her that I had read an article that they're doing a sequel, that actually Jennifer Grey is, I think, the executive producer of it. But anyway, so that picture came up, which is the thing that she's stitching, and she looked at it and she's like, she's wearing jeans. She's not wearing black shorts. So that just like annoyed her. So we went through her little bag of like extra floss and we found some jean colors that, because there's the main part of her jean shorts and then there's a rolled up cuff, which is a lighter color. So we found two colors that she thought worked really well instead, but then she had to frog out the section of stitching that she started, which, as we all know, takes, you know, 10 times longer than stitching it in and is a huge pain in the butt. So she was, Saturday while the kids and I and Aaron were playing D&D and I was stitching on that, she was in her room watching videos, frogging. And she came out, she was like, I don't like doing that. I was like, yeah. And she's like, you know, what she had said is she's not come across anything up to now that bothered her enough to do the kind of frogging that you have to do and you just decide that you don't like that color. But, you know, these little charts are important to her because it's, you know, one of her favorite movies. And so, you know, she wants them to look the way she wants them to look. And I was sympathetic, I gotta say, because you guys know with my Autumn Equinox Pixie, I stitched and pulled out her arm because I wasn't happy with the color twice. And stitching the arm probably took me 20 minutes. Unstitching the arm took me about 2 hours each time. So yeah, I get it. So, okay. Was that it? No, I have one more thing to show you. I worked on Glendon Place, All Hallows Eve. The chart doesn't fit into the project book I have it in, so I have it in a separate little thing, and I have to remember to pull it out. So this is All Hallows Eve. It is also something that I started very early in my stitching career. It's one of the first charts that I ordered from, I got it from eBay, and I was like so excited to find it. And then I found this fabric, picture this plus jewel, which is this gorgeous purpley magenta color. Obviously it's the same color as my hair, so obviously I like it, and I just think it works so well. So I stitched I finished stitching one of the lines of the words, which was the 9 Witches brewing. The brewing was there, the 9 Witches wasn't, so I stitched that. And then I started on the ghoul. And I am gonna change, his clothes are kind of like a yellowy orange color, and I figure there's enough yellowy oranges in this chart already with the moon and everything. And so she's blue, and this was purple, and this was like a turquoise. I decided to do him green. Now the snake is green as well, but the snake is more like a yellowy green, and the ones I picked for his clothing are more sort of like a sagey, let's see what colors I can show you instead of trying to describe them. These three. And honestly, I just stole them from, I think, Autumn Equinox Pixie. I went in there and I picked 3 greens and I pulled 2 strands off of my stash in that project bag and put them in this. So that's what I'm going to do the wool's clothes in. Somebody said, oh, I think it was Michelle Garrett. She was saying at one point that she was thinking about stitching one of her projects that she would stitch in honor of, you know, my birthday with the Black Cat birthday Sal. And she said, and because it's for your birthday, I'm going to change all the colors. And I'm like, oh, am I known for that? I guess maybe. And it's funny because certain things I would never change. Like, I would never change the colors of like a Hade or something like that. I think part of it is because that's too much of a pain in the rear. I mean, if there's 90 colors, I'm not going to think about changing them. If it's something like, well, I can't even say if it's something like a Chatelaine, I wouldn't change it because I have already. But probably for the most part, I wouldn't. But I don't know. Anything else is like free reign as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I think that's it. I don't have any haul this week. Nope, no haul. And my plans are basically, you know, more of the same. I didn't do any little golden book anything. Hopefully this week I can maybe do the next little golden book journal. I don't know. I mean, golden book video. I don't know. I mean, you guys aren't going to see them until they're all done anyway. I do have a Cat Lady box to unbox sometime this week. So if you like watching those videos, I know not everybody who watches my craft channel, crafty stuff, watches those unboxings, but if you do, keep an eye out. And Wednesday is my best friend Tracy's birthday. So happy birthday, Tracy. Her present and her stuff that, you know, her bird and her little golden books that I made for her are still sitting right there. So I need to get them in a box and get them in the mail. I don't have to feel too bad about it because she's not going to be home for her birthday. I think she and her partner have gone to a sort of a cabin in the woods, a lovely cabin, sort of just a restful vacation in a idyllic setting kind of thing. I know she was texting Stacy and I. The three of us have a sort of like a little group chat for certain things, and she was like, do you guys have any ideas of food that we could bring, because we only have so big of a cooler, and if we have to go to the grocery store, it's going to be like an hour drive. So I want to bring as much as we can, but we don't have that much room to bring fresh stuff. So Stacy and I were coming up with all these, like, you know, pasta and beans and tortillas and making tuna casserole and, you know, and canned stuff that still is like tasty and healthy. And so it was funny. We got on this big discussion and we kept throwing out all this stuff like, oh, you could do this and you could do this, and this doesn't need to be refrigerated until you get there. And so it was good. Tracy ran into a cabinet, I guess, last week, and so she had like a mild concussion, and it had given her a little bit of like eye problems. I mean, she went to the doctor for it and they said it'll dissipate, but she was having a little bit of like flashing in her eye and stuff that was like not dangerous, because again, she went to the doctor, but just annoying. And she said she was feeling so muddle-headed she couldn't think of like meal prepping, and she was just like staring at like a list, you know, she's trying to make a list, and she was just staring at it like, I have no idea what to bring. And so it was funny. So Stacy and I kind of came to the rescue with a bunch of ideas of stuff that doesn't need to go in a cooler for the 5 or 6 hour drive to the cabin. So, you know, they can put the meat and, you know, the dairy stuff in that cooler, but they don't need to put like canned tuna and, you know, things like that are still really good staples to have, and you know, pasta, and I you know, I don't even think she thought of pasta, and it was like, hey, pasta, oh yeah. So yeah, so anyway, I hope that she has a wonderful, relaxing birthday, and I will be stitching on more of the same. Hopefully you guys enjoy seeing the projects, and you know, I was gonna say raring me on, that's not the right word. What is the word I'm looking for, you guys? Anyway, encouraging me to finish them, to get this list of these pink ones that I want to get finished before the end of the year. So anyway, now I'm into the rambling phase, which means it's time for me to go ahead and end this video. Until I see you guys again, I hope I see you before my next video, because I hope that several of you will join me on Friday night for a little stitching and gossiping session. But if I don't see you then I will see you in my next video, I hope. And until I do see you again, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. This is Carla. Bye-bye.